Hey everybody! Today I'm going to show you how I used the StarCraft Vinyl, 3 different colours, to create this incredible butterfly. It looks so impressive, doesn't it? So first of all, I'm going to show you quickly how this runs down. So you've got your baking paper trick. So the baking paper allows you to line up everything perfectly. We have cut out the metallic vinyl here, so the gold metallic. We have got the glitter. So we've got the Hoax Hollow Gold glitter. And you can use any of these, of course. And I've also got the Spectrum Gold of the chrome for my bottom layer. So I cut all those out with my Cricut. And then I weeded it all. And if you hang on for a little minute, I'm also going to show you how I did this in Design Space. So that's really cool. So we weeded all of these out. So I've got my 3 layers. So I've got my bottom, my middle, and my top. Then what we do is we get some transfer tape, some medium tack transfer tape, put it over the top, and then turn it over, peel off the backing paper, get my sheet of baking paper, then put that on top. So I'm putting it onto the sticky part, and you can see, let's move this. You see I'm leaving a tiny bit of stickiness at the top here, and that's going to allow us to align it in place. But this baking paper allows us to move things around, wiggle it around until we have the absolute perfect alignment. So now the baking paper is between the sticky parts. So now I can take my time and align it perfectly so that's going to sit on top. The baking paper allows for this bottom layer to show through. So then you can make sure that there's absolutely no issue. And now you can see we've got a baking paper here. So I've been able to move it around until the top layer is over this middle layer and it looks amazing. Then we stick over these bits on the top, lift it up, get your baking paper. Can you see I'm pulling the baking paper out? The baking paper comes out. Then I can just simply rub over, peel off the backing paper of that. Then I've got my 3rd layer. So then I'm going to stick these 2 layers, which you can see the transfer tape from that top layer is still on, holding all of it together. I'm sticking that now onto the same piece of baking paper that I just used. And then I'm going to put that, and we've got a bit of a sneaky edit here. We've got that over the 3rd layer, which is the Spectrum Gold. And again, we've got the baking paper. Can you see the baking paper here? The baking paper is still there. So this allows me to wiggle this around to make sure it's absolutely perfect. I've got the same amount of space all around the entire design. So rub it over. And then what I'm doing here is I'm lifting it up and pulling that baking paper out. Now, can you see we've got our stickiness here? The baking paper has just been removed. And then when I lay this down, it's going to stick on top of that vinyl. And this really allows you to stick it down nice and gently. And you should really have no air bubbles at all. Can you see? It's absolutely perfect. Now just flip it over and then take off the backing paper. And now it is ready. You've got a very complex looking 3-layer design that actually is very easy to do. Even beginners can do it. And then you can just stick it anywhere. So for here, I've just stuck it on my Cricut. I've rubbed it over to make sure that it has adhered properly. And then I'm just pulling off the transfer tape. Easy peasy. Look at that. It is absolutely gorgeous. So that's it. Hopefully that's easy. Now the hardest part is actually getting this butterfly. Of course, you can go to somewhere like Creative Fabrica or a bunch of other websites. You could even probably just get a butterfly SVG or a shape from Google Images. But for me, I'm just going to show you how I do it in Canva, because I do always love Canva, and I always like a good opportunity to show you. So I go to Create a Design, I do custom size. I always like to do my 12 by 12. It just makes it easy. You don't have to. And then don't forget, we've got Elements. So Elements is the most amazing place in the world where you can basically find all sorts of different things. In this case, I'm going to search for butterfly. Now there's a whole bunch of different things. You can see some of these kind of colors that have gradients in it. So how the color goes from one color to another and blends perfectly. And then you got little animations, and we've got photographs. So we don't want, or videos, we don't want any of those. We want a graphic. And you'll see that that animation is still appearing. We don't want that though. We can't use that when we're doing SVGs. So I want to do static. Apply filter. Now you can see we've got so many different butterflies. You can pretty much see all sorts of different things. Some of them will be perfect depending on what you want. Some of them are going to be very complicated. Like this one here will be very, very complicated to do. This is amazingly simple, but you're not going to get this effect because we need to have all those details. So I know for this particular one, I know that if I search in butterfly SVG, look at all these gorgeous ones. We could use it. Probably most of those, although they do have gradients. So if I do go over here, you can see that we don't have a color option in here, which means that I can't export that as an SVG. So we'll keep going, and here it is. So here's my little cutesy butterfly. I'm going to close this up. So this basically just hides away, and you can always go back to it by clicking here, okay? So now I'm going to make it nice and big. Now you can see we've got two different colors. Okay, so that means that this is an SVG. And if I change any of these, you can see that it does change it here. So now this is going to be absolutely perfect for me to use in Design Space. So I'm going to go share, I'm going to go download, and I'm going to do SVG. And I also like to do transparent background. Save it. Now you can name your design if you like, but for me, I'm okay with calling it. And you can do like blue if you want, you can do whatever you like. Save. So that will save to whatever folder you want. Then you go to Cricut, and then you upload image, browse, and then you find your file. Double click on it. You can call it whatever you want. It normally will call it whatever name you give it. Click it. Add to canvas. And then it comes in. Now with Canva, it can sometimes come in very mumbledy-jumbledy, and it can be pretty confusing. But in this case, it's a beautiful example of something that is absolutely perfect. Now you can see here it always groups it, so we'll do ungroup, and you can see you've got two different layers. Okay, so you got your base, and you've got your more complex one. Now, what we want to do is we want to cut out all of these little bits, okay? So we've got a few options of what you could do. So I always like to make a copy of this just in case. So I'll just duplicate that, and we'll always have that ready to kind of go if we want. And we can just pop that over here. We can change that color to be, say, orange, so that it is very easy to see. Now, if we go back here, a really quick way might be to do contour. Now, contour is a really cool thing that is actually something that I don't think many people know. So if I want to get rid of this, I can just go and get this whole thing goes, and I want to keep that. So if I do that, look at that. Isn't it like magic? Oh my golly gosh. Then what we can do, can you see I've got my little eye? How amazing is that? So now we have in an instant, your mind is probably just going to be blown right now, because what you might have done is you might be trying to do all sorts of slicing and cutting and all sorts of things, but I'm going to just get rid of that. So now you can see all I did was I got my contour, which is down here, and you can do this on your phone too. And I'm just going to repeat this just so that it is incredible. So with contour, you can either do hide all contours. Okay, and if I close that, you can see I've got my base shape. So it automatically keeps your base shape. but it also remembers everything. So if I want to do show all contours, it brings it back. Cool, huh? Now let me do what I just did before. I'm going to click on that. And you can also click it here too. And I think there's a little sneaky guide there, but we should be okay. Yeah, and that's it. So now I've got my 2 layers. I'm going to delete that. So I've got this layer, I've got my other layer, my middle layer, and then what I need to do is I need to do my offset layer. And so if we go here, you can see I've this darker gold is here, is the navy. I've got my glitter, which is the blue, and now I want to do my offset, so this kind of chromey. Okay, so how do I do that? Easy. Go to offset and give it a second, and then you'll see it all working. Now I think for this I actually did only do actually, if you just, I'm going to go off, I'm going to bring this down a bit and then select this, click my offset again. Now you can see, yeah, I'm pretty sure I just did 0.6, but you can go and make it a little bit bigger if you want. So the bigger it is, usually the easier it is going to be for you. And I'm pretty sure that that looks about right in comparison to what I've got here. And click apply. Now that is ready to cut. How awesome. Of course, you have to remember what your sizing is. That's something that a lot of people will struggle with. So when you highlight over it, remember to always include your offset. You can see in total I've got 36.672 centimeters. And remember, if you want to, you can click settings and you can do no grid, full grid, partial grid. You can also change your inches or metric. Okay, so I'm pretty sure for this one I made it like 15, so just click and drag and you make it around 16 high, 20 centimeters wide. Don't forget, if something like this is happening to you, you want to undo that. Always make sure that your lock is on so that when you are dragging it up and down that it stays in proportion and it looks perfect. Then next, all you have to do is click make it, and you can load in whatever vinyl you want. So for this one, we know that the black equals my gold chrome. We know that the blue equals this gold glitter, and we know that the next layer is my metallic, and that is it. And just click continue, load in your vinyl, and hopefully you're going to make something incredibly good. You can of course use this technique with anything at all that you like, anything that has layers. Some people might have bees, you might want to do a name with an offset. There's a whole bunch of different things, but I would love for you to let us know what you think in the comments, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Have a great day. Bye.